All right, so get this. Today, we're diving deep, deep into a name you probably think you know. Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
But trust me, the sources we've got here, they go way beyond just, the surface level stuff.
Okay.
Get ready for some history, a little bit of legend, even a peek into numerology.
Oh, wow.
All connected to just this one name, Christopher.
What's so interesting is when you really start digging into a name like this, you realize it's not just a label. It's almost like a code for all these ideas and stories that have built up over centuries.
Okay, so let's crack the code then. Starting with the meaning.
Okay.
It's Greek, right?
Right.
Something about Christ.
Yeah, you got it. Christophoros, if you want to get fancy.
Okay.
And it literally means bearer of Christ.
Wow.
So right away, you could see how the name is just inherently linked to faith, right?
Yeah.
And this sense of weighty responsibility.
It's like being named Atlas, Like you're destined to carry something heavy.
Right, exactly.
So when did this name really hit the mainstream? When did it, become popular?
Well, it gained a lot of traction back in medieval Europe. And, think about it.
Yeah.
Christianity was on the rise. And who's the patron saint of travelers?
Saint Christopher.
You guessed it.
Oh, right. The guy with the giant and the river.
Exactly.
And our sources actually lay out that whole legend.
Yeah, it's
pretty captivating stuff.
It's a story that has resonated for ages.
Oh, absolutely.
You have this giant carrying a child across a raging river.
Yeah.
Only to find out it's Christ he's been supporting.
Right.
It really solidified that connection, with Christopher, with strengths, with protection.
And with faith, too, right?
Oh, absolutely. The deep connection to faith.
It makes you think about why people still wear those St. Christopher medals for safe travels.
Yeah.
It's like a little reminder of that, really powerful story.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really intriguing.
Okay.
Even beyond religion, right? Like the name Christopher carries some pretty specific connotations.
Absolutely.
What are some of those?
So even today, it's often linked with exploration, resilience, a curious mind.
It's not just about physical strength.
No.
It's like mental and emotional strength, too.
Right, that fortitude, exactly.
Our sources point to a sense of refinement, almost like wisdom, mixed with that, adventurous spirit.
Right.
It's like this balanced combo of boldness and brains.
Yeah.
And they actually list some personality traits that pop up again and again.
Oh, interesting.
Like friendly, loyal, strong.
Okay.
Those are a pretty good friend to have.
Right. What's fascinating, though, is this image of Christopher. It seems to have spread, far and wide.
Yeah.
Think about it. You've got Cristobal in Spain, Cristoforo in Italy.
Wow.
Even Cristoforo over in Russia.
That's wild. So despite, the language barriers, that core essence of the name, it stays strong.
It really does.
It's like a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. Okay.
We even found some info about Christopher in numerology.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, it's linked to the number 3.
Yeah, the number 3 is all about creativity, communication, self-expression.
So it often gets connected to charisma and optimism, which, if you think about it, lines up pretty well with those personality traits we mentioned.
Right.
Hold on. We've got numerology. We've got ancient Greek origins.
Yeah.
But the rabbit hole goes even deeper.
Oh.
Astrologically, Christopher is connected to Mercury.
Okay.
And what does Mercury rule? Communication, intellect, and exploration. It's like all these different pieces are starting to fit together.
It really does paint a cohesive picture, doesn't it?
It does.
It's like each piece of the puzzle, the meaning, the history, the numerology, they all kind of reinforce each other,
Yeah.
It's revealing this deeper understanding of the name.
And when you layer on these symbolic colors associated with Christopher,
Oh, right.
it gets even more interesting.
It does symbolic colors.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to have to break that down for me.
Okay.
What colors are we talking about and what do they represent?
We're talking about blue and gold.
Okay.
Blue, the color of tranquility and loyalty, and gold, representing wisdom and courage.
I can see how that fits.
Right.
Blue for that calm, steady presence.
Yeah.
Gold for the, inner strength and drive to explore.
Exactly.
But it's not just about abstract concepts and colors, right?
Right.
The name Christopher pops up in literature and pop culture all over the place.
That's true.
Give me some examples.
Well, you've got, of course, Christopher Robin from Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, yeah.
This embodiment of childhood innocence and imagination.
Then you've got Christopher Columbus, who, love him or hate him, represents that drive to discover new worlds.
Absolutely.
It's incredible how the same name can be connected to such different figures.
And it doesn't stop there.
No.
You see Christophers all over media, as leaders, as thinkers, as adventurers.
It's almost as if the name itself carries a certain weight. A suggestion of someone who's going to make a mark on the world.
I think so.
It makes you wonder if all those famous Christophers were somehow influenced by their name.
Right.
Or if they were just drawn to those same qualities because they were already a part of them.
It's like a chicken and egg thing.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's precisely why this deep dive is so fascinating.
Absolutely.
We're not just uncovering the meaning of a name.
No.
We're exploring the interplay between identity, destiny, and the power of symbolism.
It's really cool.
Okay, before my head explodes from all this mind-blowing stuff.
I know, right?
Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
When we come back, we'll be digging even deeper into the world of Christopher.
Yeah.
Exploring its global variations, its presence in art and literature.
Right.
And maybe even uncovering some of the hidden depths behind those famous Christophers.
Can't wait.
Don't go anywhere.
Stick with us.
All right, so we're back and ready to, plunge even deeper into the world of Christopher.
Okay.
It's amazing how this one name has taken us from ancient Greek origins to numerology to pop culture.
And we're just getting started.
Really?
You remember that legend of St. Christopher we touched on earlier?
Yeah.
Well, there's a layer there that we haven't fully explored yet.
You mean the giant carrying the child across the river?
Exactly.
Yeah, that imagery is so powerful, it's always stuck with me.
It's not just about physical strength, though.
Okay.
Think about it.
Yeah.
This giant, this symbol of strength, he's literally burdened, struggling to carry this weight. It's about taking on responsibility, facing challenges.
Okay.
And ultimately having faith, even when things are tough.
It's like the story is saying that even the strongest among us need help sometimes.
Exactly.
And there's strength in acknowledging that.
Right. And it adds a whole new dimension to the name Christopher, doesn't it?
It does.
It's not just about being tough and fearless.
Yeah.
It's about embracing vulnerability, knowing when to ask for help, right? And finding strength in those moments of struggle.
It makes you think about all the different ways people interpret and embody the qualities associated with their name,
Absolutely.
It's we're all given this set of tools,
but
it's up to each individual to decide how to use them.
That's such a great point. And it reminds us that even though we're exploring these, broad themes and historical connections, ultimately names are deeply personal.
Right.
They become part of our individual stories, shaping how we see ourselves and how the world sees us.
So how do we go from these personal interpretations to the name's impact on a larger scale? How has Christopher left its mark on, say, art, literature, or even society as a whole?
Well, for starters, think about all the creative works inspired by the name or by the figures who bear it.
Right.
We've talked about Christopher Robin, Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
But the list goes on and on.
It does. It's true.
And it's not just about direct references to the name either.
Right.
It's about those core themes it embodies.
Like what?
Exploration, courage, resilience. Themes that resonate deeply within the human experience.
Okay.
Exactly. These themes, they find expression in all forms of art and storytelling. Painting, music, literature, film.
So the name becomes a sort of archetype.
I think so, yeah. A symbol for these universal human qualities that we all grapple with.
It's like Christopher becomes shorthand for a certain kind of character.
Right.
The brave adventurer, the intellectual seeker.
The loyal friend.
Right.
And that archetype, in turn, it shapes our understanding of the world and inspires us to tap into those qualities within ourselves.
So it's not just a name.
Yeah.
It's like this cultural force.
It is.
Wow, this conversation has taken some unexpected turns.
I know.
We started with a name, and now we're talking about archetypes and the human experience.
It's a lot.
It's mind-blowing. But before we get too philosophical, let's circle back to something a bit more concrete. That astrological connection to Mercury.
Ah, yes, Mercury, the messenger of the gods.
Okay.
Associated with communication, intellect, and, as you mentioned earlier, a thirst for exploration.
Right. So it's a fitting link for a name that we've already connected to curiosity, right?
Exactly.
And a desire to, push boundaries.
It all ties back to that idea of Christopher as the explorer, the communicator, someone who's always seeking knowledge and new experiences.
It's like all these different threads.
Yeah.
Mythology, astrology, history.
They're all coming together.
Yeah, they're weaving together a tapestry of meaning around this one name.
And it speaks to that fundamental human desire to make sense of the world around us, to connect with something larger than ourselves.
You know, we see these patterns emerge.
Yeah.
And we try to find meaning in them.
Exactly. And that's what makes these deep dives so fascinating.
It is.
We're not just learning about a name.
Right.
We're exploring the human condition.
Our shared history.
Those universal themes that connect us all.
But let's bring it back to Earth for a moment. What about that numerology connection?
Okay.
What's the significance of the number 3?
The number 3 is fascinating.
Okay.
Often associated with creativity, self-expression, expansion.
Give me an example.
Well, think about it. You have the 3 primary colors.
Okay.
The Trinity in Christianity. The 3 acts in a traditional story structure. It signifies growth, movement.
And when you think about the personalities of those famous Christophers we mentioned, Nolan, Hitchens, Walken.
Yeah, what about them?
There's definitely a creative spark there, right?
Absolutely.
A drive to communicate their unique vision to the world.
Right. They all possess that certain charisma, an ability to captivate their audience.
Whether it's through film, writing, or performance.
Exactly.
It's like the numerology adds another layer of meaning to the name's overall personality profile.
It does. It's really interesting.
Like even with all these broader connections, it ultimately comes down to the individual, right?
Of course.
How each Christopher chooses to, express those inherent qualities.
Absolutely. It's about finding your own personal power within those broader archetypes and symbols.
Okay.
It's like we're all given a set of tools, our name, our history, our cultural influences, and it's up to us to decide how we'll use them to create our own unique story.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Thank you.
It's a reminder that we all have the power to shape our own destinies, even within the framework of those broader influences.
Yeah.
And speaking of influence, what about the global reach of the name Christopher?
Okay.
We talked about those variations in different languages.
Yeah.
What does that tell us about the name's overall impact?
It's remarkable, isn't it? Cristobal, Cristoforo, Christopher.
It is.
It's a testament to the name's universality. That core meaning of bearer of Christ.
Yeah.
It resonates across cultures and continents.
It's like a thread that connects people from all over the world. Despite their differences in language and culture,
right.
It speaks to those shared human values. Yeah.
Of faith, strength, resilience.
The things that we all gravitate towards.
And even though the pronunciation and spelling might change, that essence remains recognizable.
It really does.
It's a beautiful illustration of how a name can transcend borders and become a symbol of our shared humanity.
I agree.
It makes you wonder what other names have traveled so far and wide,
right,
carrying their stories and symbolism across generations and cultures.
It's fascinating to think about.
It's like this giant interconnected web of human experience, all woven together through these seemingly simple labels we call names.
It's truly fascinating, and it reminds us that despite our differences, we're more connected than we might realize.
We share a common history, a common desire for meaning, and a fascination with those who embody those qualities we admire.
Right.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
It has.
I feel like I'll never look at the name Christopher the same way again.
I know, me too.
But we've only just scratched the surface of this, multifaceted gem. I know, right? So much more to explore.
So when we come back,
yeah,
we'll be wrapping up our deep dive with a closer look at those symbolic colors.
Okay.
The personality traits associated with the name.
Right.
And some final thoughts on what we can all learn from this exploration.
I'm excited.
Stay tuned. Welcome back, deep divers. We're in the final stretch of our exploration of Christopher.
It's gone by so fast.
And I'm honestly a little sad to see it end,
Yeah.
Who knew a single name could hold so much depth?
It's been quite the journey, hasn't it?
It has.
We've gone from ancient Greek origins to modern-day pop culture. And it's just amazing how, everything connects back to those core themes of strength, faith, and that desire to explore.
It's like we've uncovered this hidden language,
right,
like a code embedded within the name itself.
Exactly.
But, for all the talk about strength and resilience, there's another side to Christopher that I'm curious about. That element of vulnerability we touched on earlier.
Ah, yes. That's a crucial piece of the puzzle.
What do you mean?
Remember that image of St. Christopher struggling under the weight of the Christ child?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a powerful reminder that even the strongest among us, we have moments of weakness.
Right.
Times when we need to rely on others.
It's like the story saying that true strength lies in acknowledging those vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having the courage to ask for help when we need it.
Right. It's not about denying our weaknesses.
Yeah.
It's about embracing them as part of what makes us human.
Absolutely. And it kind of challenges those traditional notions of masculinity that are often associated with names like Christopher.
It does, yeah.
It's a reminder that strength and vulnerability aren't mutually exclusive.
No.
They actually complement each other.
It's about finding that balance.
Yeah.
That sweet spot where inner strength meets the humility to admit when we need support.
That resonates with me a lot.
Yeah, it's a powerful message.
I think it's something we could all learn from.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, it speaks to the complexity of the human experience. We're not one-dimensional beings.
Yeah.
We're all this mix of strengths and weaknesses, light and shadow. And it's in those contrasts, right, that we find our true selves, our unique and authentic voices.
It's like Christopher, the name itself, embodies that complexity.
Right.
It's strong, yet vulnerable, adventurous, yet grounded.
It's a reminder that life is full of paradoxes.
It is.
And embracing those paradoxes is what makes it so rich and interesting.
Beautifully said. And that brings us to another fascinating aspect of Christopher.
Okay, what's that?
It's adaptability.
Ah, yes.
Think about how the name has evolved over time and across cultures.
Yeah.
It's taken on different forms, pronunciations.
Even meanings.
Yeah, yet it remains recognizable at its core.
Right, it's really interesting.
It's like it has this chameleon-like quality, blending into different environments while still retaining its essence.
I like that.
We've seen how it's been adapted in Spanish, Italian, Russian.
All these different languages with their unique sound.
Right, and cultural influences.
And yet, despite those variations, the name Christopher still evokes those same core ideas of strength, faith, and exploration.
It's like a universal language,
Yeah.
a shared understanding that transcends cultural barriers.
It's a testament to the power of names to connect us.
Yeah.
To remind us that despite our differences, we share a common humanity.
It's like Christopher itself becomes a bridge between cultures.
Right.
A symbol of our shared desire for meaning and connection.
Exactly. And that adaptability
Yeah.
is such a valuable quality, especially in today's world.
What do you mean?
It's about being open to new experiences, embracing diversity, finding common ground, even when we're different.
It's a reminder that we can all learn from Christopher's example, right?
Yes.
To be more adaptable in our own lives, to embrace change, to approach the world with a sense of curiosity and compassion.
It's a really powerful message of hope.
And possibility.
Yeah, beautifully put.
And as we wrap up our deep dive into Christopher,
Yeah.
I'm struck by how much we've learned,
It is.
not just about a name,
Right.
but about ourselves, about history, about culture,
Yeah.
about the very nature of humanity.
It's pretty amazing.
It's true. We started with, a seemingly simple name, and it's led us on this incredible journey of discovery.
That's true.
We've explored its ancient origins, its connection to faith and legend, its impact on art and literature, its global reach, its numerological and astrological significance.
Even its symbolic colors.
Right. It's been an absolute whirlwind of information and insight.
It really has.
And it's a reminder that every name, every word, holds a story waiting to be told.
It's an invitation to delve deeper, to explore the hidden depths of language and the human experience.
And to remember that even the most familiar things, right? They can surprise us with their richness and complexity.
I agree.
So as we say goodbye to Christopher, I want to leave you with a final thought.
What's that?
What other hidden depths might your own name hold?
What stories, what symbols, what connections are waiting to be uncovered?
I encourage you to embark on your own exploration, delve into the history and meaning of your own name.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by what you discover.
It's a journey worth taking.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Christopher.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Until next time, keep exploring.